I'm not going to tell you what time it is because I'm about to tell you how many words I got and I don't want you to do the math. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Just another struggling writer. The Beleaguered Authors one-stop shop for commiseration and hopefully inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher and I am just another struggling writer. Well, today is the start of another writing vlog, and unfortunately today is also Saturday afternoon, shortly after 2 o'clock to be exact, and that means I'm a little bit behind. I won't go into it too much, but the excuses are all the same. I am just very busy with my day job, with my kids and my family, and it's leaving me bereft of any sort of mental energy in the evening times. And to be totally honest with you, it's gotten to the point where I recognize I have too many goals and aspirations for 24 hours. And it's made me realize that really, if I want to do all the things that I want to do, I can't have a job. But I have to have a job or else I can't have a life. So I just need to learn how to balance things a little bit better. Maybe pare back some of my expectations a little bit. I think that might help a little, and try and cull some things that aren't serving me. But the problem is all of these things are serving me. Writing is certainly serving me. Content creation is certainly serving me in terms of it's one of the few hobbies I have left, but it is also time consuming. And I could certainly write without doing content creation, and I can read without doing content creation. But if I take that away in service of making more time to work, what does that leave me? It's getting to a point where I'm starting to recognize that I have given myself just too many expectations and too many desires and things to do. I've got a job, I've got writing, I've got reading, I've got content, I've got school. I haven't even mentioned school yet. I just switched my major to a business degree so that with the aspiration of one day opening an independent bookstore. I had started with creative writing because 2 years ago when I started, my goal was to get a job in publishing as an editor. And I just don't see that happening, to be honest with you. I think I'm too old to start in publishing because we all know that when you start, you're at the very bottom, of course, which makes sense. But you're working overtime and you're reading slush and all of that stuff. And I can't move, to be closer. So it would have to be a remote job, which are very sparing. So after 2 years, I decided to switch to a business degree with a focus on small business so I can one day open a bookstore. And it is actually I'm starting to really think about my 5-year plan for that. Maybe starting as a pop-up or an online retailer until I can get to a point where I can open brick and mortar. All that to say, school is taking a turn for something that is a little bit harder for me. The creative writing stuff came naturally to me, and the business stuff does not. But I think ultimately it will serve me better, even if I enjoy it a little bit less. So that's weighing on me. I'm taking my first 2 business classes right now. So I just really have to reevaluate the demands I'm placing on myself and on my time. Because the truth is, I don't think I can do it all. I don't think I can read and write and have a job and do content and clean my house even, and school, and spend time with my kids and my partner in a single day. Because I do have to sleep and I do have to go to work, which leaves me roughly 6 hours a day to fit everything else in. And it's not working. All of that to say, it is now Saturday afternoon, and I have spent more or less the last 15 hours in bed. And I'm going to spend the rest of it in bed, but upright and doing work. So my goal for the day is to pretty much spend the whole day working and writing, or the rest of what's left of it anyway. I am now... I did write a little... Okay, it's not true that I didn't write anything yesterday. I did. Yesterday, I did 102 words. So I did start, which means I'm not completely forgetting about it or deprioritizing it. I am thinking about it every day. And that's the other thing is I had some realizations about the current scene or the scene that needs to come next after the big one that I just finished. It's funny because when you're outlining and you're planning all this out, at least for me, I'm thinking about plot and what is expeditious to move the plot and what is necessary to move the plot and what is moving forward. So in my outline, my character who is arrested in the very first, or is being booked into jail in the very first scene, is eventually busted out or bailed out. And then in my outline, she is going straight to her new job and her new boss. It occurred to me that like she just spent 2.5 days in jail. She hasn't taken a shower. She hasn't had a clean change of clothes. She's not going to want to go to this secret government agency and start a new job like that. No one would. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to, like, do I address it? Because there is a scene that I had planned on where she goes and tells her grandmother. But like the person who is taking her to her new job takes her or picks her up from the jail. So does he wait for her to take a shower? So now I'm like thinking about the logistics. And that prompted me to wonder, do I rearrange the scene? Does he not pick her up from jail? Does he pick her up from her grandmother's house? And that gives her time to pack a bag and take a shower and get ready for the day and for her meeting at the secret government agency. And I could change the order of some things and it would work. But it just makes me think, like, when I was doing the outline, none of these questions really came up. But when you're in the draft, you go, oh yeah, she would want a shower. She would want to be able to brush her teeth and wash her hair and, put herself back together after a very harrowing experience, jumping into a new harrowing experience. Anyway, so part of the reason I have spent so long in bed is because I was trying to mentally work out what I wanted to do. And I'm to be honest, I'm still not entirely certain how I want to do it, but I'm going to sit here and figure it out. That's my plan. I'll check in periodically, but I'm on day 15 of writing of the draft, and my goal was 1,000 words a day, which means I need to be at, before the end of the day, 15,000 words. So I have 4,500 that I need to write today if I want to catch up. Because tomorrow I'm probably not going to get a ton of writing done again. Sundays is my homework days, as you know, and I just foresee getting only a little bit done, maybe later in the evening as well. So 4.5 is a lot. I have done it when I've dedicated an entire day to it. And sometimes you just get in the flow and it just goes. So maybe, but anyway, it's 2:30 now. I'm going to sit down, or I'm going to tuck myself in, get writing. I've got lunch coming, so I'll have a little bit of a lunch break. And then, like I said, I'll just check in periodically and let you know how it's going. Also, before I get started, I just wanted to show you, I'm obsessed with it. It is still 90 degrees here in Texas, but I sit right under the air vent, and so I often get really cold when I'm working in this space. So I'm hoping for some inspiration from it. Something I'm finding interesting about this project is that this is like the lowest place I have ever started a main character in. She's in a really tough position. She has just been arrested for accidentally setting a tree on fire. She pretty much has no friends left. She's been couch surfing and job surfing for the last 1.5 years after she got kicked out of her grandmother's house. And she's pretty much worn out her welcome with all of her friends. And then her own grandmother refused to bail her out of jail because of the circumstances that led her there. So she's kind of being forced into this situation where she has to accept this job that she didn't really want and didn't really want anything to do with. And that's like the lowest point I've ever started a main character on. And it's just interesting. I always say that I don't like to be depressed in my spare time, and that really applies to like the media I consume. And I'm like struggling to really lean into this moment of like showing how low this character is. And of course the idea is to expand her world and make it better throughout the course of the book and show her like how good, she could do it if she just commits to something, etc. But I'm having a hard time like really leaning into it because I'm just so sad for her. But that'll be probably something I can take care of in revisions. I just thought it was interesting that I'm like sad for this character, even though I was the one that set her up for it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my bed. I'm not going to tell you what time it is because I'm about to tell you how many words I got and I don't want you to do the math. So I just crossed over the 12,000 word mark total, not today, the grand total. So that's pretty exciting. I have written 1,600 words today. Again, we're not going to talk about how long it took to get there, but I'm making progress. That's the most important thing. I am certainly making more progress than I have over the last several days. So I'm gonna take that and run with it. I'm going to continue to work for the next couple of hours, but I just wanted to stop and check in and let you know where I'm at. I'm currently writing a scene that is giving me a little bit of pause because I was going to say because I want to get it right, but that's true of every scene. So what makes this one different? Well, for starters, it has always been part of my story. Like, it's one of those that it's always been there, even when I tried drafting it before. But the difference is when I tried drafting it before, I remember writing it on paper, like I longhand drafted it, but it never actually made it into the digital draft. So I don't know what my thought process was, but it's gone now. I don't have it like saved to my computer, and I bet I could probably find the notebook that it was in, but that was before the fire. So it could be anywhere. So it's gone, is what I'm saying. So I have nothing to like refresh my memory on how I did it before. And apparently it caused me so much trouble when I was digitally drafting that it disappeared. I skipped it entirely. And it's funny kind of going back and reading that previous iteration of the draft where so much is different from what I've done now. I skipped a lot of the parts that are giving me trouble currently, which in a way is like, wow, I really just I put no effort into working through these moments that I feel are important to the story. I just if they gave me even an iota of trouble, I just skipped them entirely and just moved on and figured out another way to move through it. Yikes. So I'm proud of myself for working through those problems now, but it is making progress a little bit slow. And I'm also having a little bit of those feels that you get when you're in the middle of a draft, especially the first draft, where you're like, this is garbage. I hate this. This isn't what I want. This isn't doing what I want it to do, yada, yada. And I have to kind of work through that as well. Like, it's fine that it's not good. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just keep moving. Just keep swimming. Just keep writing. Get those words down. It'll be fine. Those are the two demons I'm battling right now while working through this part of the draft. And this goes back to what I was saying even before I started the draft about how drafting is my least favorite part of the writing process because it feels so difficult for me. I can edit the shit out of a document, but I have to write it first. I can plan all the live long day. I can outline, and I've got lots of great processes for that, and I know how to edit, and I really feel energized by edits, but none of that is true when it comes to actually drafting. And the other thing is the character's voice isn't coming through as strongly as it did the first time I tried it, which is really disappointing because it was really fun. She was really just the narrative style was very voicey. So even though it was a third person, it's still is being told in her voice, and so just very snarky, and there was a lot of asides where she's thinking through things with us, kind of injecting her own personality into the narrative structure, and that's really missing. I feel that's missing this time around, and I don't know why, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed, but nothing I can do about that for right now other than just try and inject some of it consciously. But then I feel like if I do that, then it'll be obvious that I'm trying too hard. It's the first draft. It is what it is. But it is just a little bit kind of a letdown that it came so easily last time. Although apparently it didn't all come easily. The voice certainly did, and it's not now. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Hockey is on. I am a big sports nut, as you know, and the hockey season has started, so I'm going to watch a little bit of hockey, and then in a little while there's going to be football, college football that I'm going to watch. That's going to be my backdrop, but I'm going to continue working, and I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Hey y'all, just checking in with a quick writing update, but before I do, I just want to rant for a moment because I do not feel good today, physically or mentally. I've spent most of the day working on homework and feeling generally like crap. I'm coming down with some sort of cold, throat hurts, congestion, tiredness, the works. But I've also had a bunch of homework to do. The long and the short of it is I am taking my first 2 business classes this term, and one I am enjoying and seem to be doing well at, and the other I hate, and not just because I am apparently really bad at it. And I know I'm just being a crybaby bitch right now, but oh my gosh. And then the other part of it is now Sunday night, if that was not apparent. I did not get 4,000 words yesterday like I jokingly said that I was going to try for. In fact, the last time I talked to you was pretty close to when I called it a night yesterday. I ended up with 1,770 words, which is another reason why I'm feeling kind of mentally shitty today, is that I am once again blocked on this scene. That's why I put it aside last night, and even just when I opened it today to kind of refresh myself and see if any new ideas would crop up, nothing did. I'm really, really blocked. I don't feel like I can work on it tonight, which means I'm going yet another day without writing. And I just feel like crap about it. I know what I need to do. I need to take a shower and lay down and do that thing that I do right before I fall asleep, where I'm like really brainstorming and deep diving into the problem, because the right before I go to sleep is when I get my best ideas. But what happens is that I will fall asleep, and then I won't get, I'll put up another goose egg for today. And again, feel shitty. I hate it. And I'm trying to like be kind to myself and remind myself that it's okay to get sick, and it's okay to have obstacles and have things come up that take priority. But I just can't help but feel like if I had managed my time better last week, not only would I have gotten writing done throughout the week, not only would I have gotten reading done throughout the week, because I didn't do any of that either, but apart from that, I also would have been able to get more of this homework done, and I wouldn't have left it all to the last minute. So this assignment that I am certain is going to take me 5 hours, I'd have time for it. And that is sending me down the spiral of I'm a shitty person who doesn't know my limits and keeps piling things on my plate because they sound cool, and not committing to any one of them. And that makes me just bad at everything that I am trying to do. It sucks feeling like that. I'm just not feeling it today. And yes, logically, if I step outside of myself, I can see that this is just one day. This is just one hurdle, and maybe I'll go to sleep, and maybe I'll be sick enough to justify taking the day off of work, which I also hate doing, by the way. But that will give me time to rest and whatnot. But then if that's the case, then I'm taking another day off, and not just from work, but from writing and creative endeavors. And so there's always a double-edged sword with anything that forces me to rest, because so much of my self-identity and self-worth is tied up in being productive and being always moving and always on the go. And 90% of the time that works for me. But when I get sick like this, or when I have weeks like I had where there is just so much energy is being drained out of me by things that are unexpected, then I just then I spiral, because I didn't get anything else done that I had planned. So that's kind of where I'm at today. I'm almost certain I'm not going to write anything. In fact, I was just looking, and I think I may end up erasing the last 150 words. I don't know yet. I have to do my brainstorming thing to see if this path I started on is still viable for the rest of this scene. But if not, then 150 words are going to get taken out. But I'm not doing that tonight. I just don't have it in me. It's already 10:30. It's also one of those weeks where I realize that I've given too much of myself to too many things, and that has resulted in kind of mediocre results for everything. But for now, I just wanted to let y'all know that I'm not writing today. I'm going to brainstorm. Maybe in the morning, I'll be generous to myself and say that counts. That counts as writing. Working through block with brainstorming, even if they don't result in actual words between midnight and midnight, doesn't mean that I didn't engage with my material. I'm going to go before this becomes just a pity party, even more of one than I've already made it. I will check in with you tomorrow and let you know if I've made any progress or if I came up with any ideas on how to fix this scene. Hey y'all, just checking in. It is now Monday evening. I am still sick, unfortunately. In fact, I think I made myself worse by trying to go to work today, but I took quite a large nap, and I want to try and get some work done on this draft, lest this whole week go to waste. So yesterday I mentioned I was going to sleep on ideas on how to approach the rest of this scene, and I came up with what I thought was a pretty good idea. The only downside was I would have to rewrite the beginning of it, and at the time I was like, no problem. That's only a couple hundred words. I feel comfortable knocking that out. And then I got back into the document today,
and saw that it was actually not a few hundred. It was like 800. So I won't be using that idea. I wasn't completely sold on it anyway, and I'm not even, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not entirely convinced that it would have solved the problem anyway. So I still have some brainstorming to do. I think I'm probably going to take off the last 155 words and set those aside and approach the conversation that is about to happen in a different way. But I haven't written anything. I'm about to get started. I am not confident that I'll get a ton done, but again, I wanted to at least make the attempt since I'm awake and I'm just laying here refreshing Twitter anyway. I may as well try and put my brain to good use. I don't know that I'll check in again tonight unless I go on a tear and completely, like, pound out my 1,000 words really fast. But I did want to check in, let you know that I'm still sick, but I am still at least thinking and engaging with my draft, which may have to be good enough tonight. So I'll check in with you guys later. Okay, it is an hour and a half later, and I've done some good work, I think. I deleted that 155 words that I mentioned and then rewrote them. So I did a total of 455 words, but I only netted 300 even. But I feel a lot better about the direction the scene is going, and I feel pretty confident that I can pick it up tomorrow, provided that I'm feeling better. But I'm pretty tapped out. That took a lot out of me. So I am done for the night. Not 1,000, but progress. So I'm gonna take that and feel comfortable with it. And then my goal tomorrow, or whenever I'm feeling better, hopefully tomorrow, I will try and finish this scene out, which should be between 800 words and 1,200 words, so right in that 1,000 word mark. And we'll just keep trucking. Looking forward to that. But for now, I'm gonna get some more rest. So. Hey y'all, just checking in. I didn't know it at the time, but that last clip that you just saw was the end of the vlog. It is now Thursday, and as you can tell, I'm not completely better from whatever cold I got earlier this week, and as such, writing has not been something I've been up to doing a whole lot of, combined with the fact that I've also had a very, very chaotic week at work. It's just not been good for writing. I think I got like 45 words yesterday. I'm trying, but it is just not working out for me this week. And I'm trying to be kind to myself and remind myself that you're not always going to have a couple of hours every evening to write. You're not always going to have a wealth of mental energy to spare at the end of the day, which is why I guess a lot of writers try to get up in the morning and do it. I'm starting to see the merit in that, but I'm so not a morning person. I don't think it would be worth it, but that's for another time. Anyway, it's just, the point is that I'm trying to not be so hard on myself and remind myself that sickness happens and stressful events happen and it's okay. And at least I got started a little bit earlier than I intended to kind of build up a back, to kind of build myself up a little bit. I'm still on target to finish by the end of the year. So really, I'm okay. But this week and a little bit of last week has kind of forced me to reevaluate what I'm prioritizing. I'm going to talk a little bit about this in my next video, but I have to really think about how I'm spending my time and where I can conserve mental energy so that I can write every day, because ultimately writing professionally is the goal, and if I can't get a book sold, then that goal is never going to get met. And I can't sell a book until I've written the damn thing. So I have got to get over this hump. I have got to make it my top priority. But again, that is for a future video. For now, thank you so much for watching. Sorry it has not been as productive, especially as that first week. I felt like I was really nailing it that first week, and it's just been a fall off since then. But I've got a plan for this coming week, which I will talk about in next week's vlog. But I'm hoping to get back on track this week, and I have reason to believe that I can bounce back this week, largely because a lot of the evening activities I'm not going to be responsible for this week. So I'm not going to be called on as much to be running around even after I get home from work like I usually am. So feeling confident for next week, and trying to be gentle on myself for what a disaster this week has been, productivity wise. So thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. As I mentioned, in my next video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about my reading plans for the future going forward.
and maybe brainstorming some ideas for some videos in that regard. So I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then.